What
Oh,
was
the
that
last thing? We're gonna bring it on home. Okay. Halo Infinite, more news. So this game is so rocky right now. Things are so fucked up. They're bringing in one of the old school guys to fix this shit. So they're
Yeah.
bringing in Joseph Staten. He was a veteran of the Halo series. He's been on the first 3 games. They're bringing him in to help with this game. That tells me right there that this shit ain't coming out anytime
But
soon.
what? All right, so what does he do? What's wrong with it? What's his? Is he a producer, director? What is his role? Or is he
He,
a
he
art
he
design?
he he
What is
he
he?
worked on art and story for the original
All
three
right, so it's
games.
the story because that's how we can determine what's going on. If they're
Yeah,
bringing in a story guy, that means the
and a
shit is
graphics
stuck.
guy. Think
And the
about it. He's
graphic,
both.
yeah.
Well, we know what's wrong. Just visually, you can see what's wrong.
Yeah,
The
we
game
thought.
looks. Yeah,
That's what we thought. It was just a visual. But if you're bringing a story guy, that means they think this isn't going to
and
fly. People are
he's
going to
not just a
praise.
consult. He's leading the team now. Whoever was running it before, they're fucking done. You know,
Well, I'm sure. I'm
he's the
sure
new
the
project lead
backlash.
now. Think about that. As the project lead for Halo Infinite campaign, I will be supporting the team's existing great leaders. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But this is indicative of what's going on with this game behind the scenes.
You know what? I don't give a shit. It's not my buddy. It's not Gears. It's not. That's not my
Yeah.
franchise. If it was
Well,
Gears, then it would hurt me. But it's not. So
yeah.
whatever.
What about you, Carlos? You're the Halo guy.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I missed the question. What happened?
No, what do you think about them bringing
How
in
do you
this
feel
dude?
about this?
Yeah, how do you feel about them bringing in the
Uh,
old school guy to fix this game?
I don't have too much faith, to be honest. Like it's like, we were talking about Star Wars earlier, and it's like, yeah, they brought back J.J. Abrams, bring back the ship. You know how that worked.
Yeah, right the ship.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
And then we talked about this also. How it looks
Right
like
the
an
ship.
old game. Is it even a smart move to bring back somebody who worked on the older ones? That was the main gripe. This shit looked old. Bring in some fresh eyes.
It's more like the guy bring back the guy who made the good Halo games as opposed to the lousy Halo games that this company has been putting out.
But
Sorry.
These people tout that they brought in a lot of people from Bungie, like when they created 343. Frank O'Connor was one of the big ones.
Yeah, that
They,
was
they had a lot of the old Halo people, so that's why you can trust 343 in that sense. But yeah, this does. I mean, didn't like they have like a creative difference like earlier, like a year or two ago or something like that? This game, it's like, how many things do we have to hear about this game? And like they can't even show us because they're too embarrassed to show us.
Oh shit.
Well, I remember. I don't know if it was finalized, but I remember the talks was that this version Infinite was supposed to be their answer to Destiny. That's why it was going to be Infinite. It was going to be this big open world. This is early on when they just showed him in the sand dunes, remember? And he had the hood, and they were like, "Oh, that's all we saw." So people were like, "This is it. You're going to explore new planets. You're going to travel around. This is their version of Destiny." But then it turned out, no, we're going to do a more linear story, and this and this. Okay, we had no clue what they were doing, and it's obviously they don't even know because now they're going back to the drawing board.
I'm gonna say this: 343 has had issues going all the way back to the beginning. I'm gonna say this: like Halo 4, their original director walked. Who was this guy Ryan Payton? There's a bunch of other
Your
guys
boy.
that walked out in the beginning. Why is that happening? Why are we having all these sorts of funky issues and all kinds of stuff? Like the company can't even get a remaster of Halo, the original Halo games done right. There are problems there.
Yo, I'm gonna
There's
say this.
serious problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now, right? If Halo Infinite flops, Bonnie Ross, who runs 343, I think she's done, man. I think she's done. So
Yeah, maybe we can go all the way back to when Microsoft let Bungie go, and maybe they just never really prepared for life without Bungie, or life after Bungie, because that's what it seems like. It's like what they probably grabbed. I know a lot of because I saw the documentary. It was a whole documentary about this, and a lot of the people that did from Bungie that did stay to continue and join the 343 project, it's because they already lived in the area and they had their family. They're like, I'm staying. But it maybe the key people that they needed to make this work are the ones that left. So you had a bunch of people you had a bunch of people that stayed, but they weren't the ones that really make the changes. The ones that make those changes, those big decisions, and set the paths are the ones that left. That stayed with Bungie and continued on with Destiny.
Who were the guys that made Halo Reach? Who were the guys that made Halo? Halo 1, 2, and 3. Where are those guys? You know, and I don't think they're there anymore. You know?
But this is what we seen when we were talking about this before. Mass Effect and all these other games. It's like you can't just continue on because you own IP. You need the brains behind it. You need the people that were involved that had the vision, the original vision, whether it's the story or the gameplay. Because once you take these components out and you try to fill it in with someone else, it doesn't always work. We see this all the time with movies and TV shows, and this is no different in games. It's just now that people are starting to realize, wow, there's something else to it. What's going on? Why did this fall apart? Why is this not like the other one? Isn't this the same studio? Studio by name, but not by the staff. The staff
not by the staff. But the thing is that, like, I think the some of these companies think that they get this false pretense. Okay, yeah, we have the Halo, we have the franchise. Okay, so we can just continue to put out games, and people are just going to keep eating it up. No, it's not that. It's not that at all.
Unless they go back, like sort of like what we're seeing with Activision doing with the Tony Hawk 1 and 2, where they're actually taking original code. They're saying, forget about just aesthetics, bringing it back. We're going to bring it back with the code on that level. But then if you do that, then you're really not changing anything. That's not what people want.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's like people want, like, it's like going back to when things were good, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, we brought back the game that you love. It's the same game, just shinier. But okay, so then now, then now there's a bigger question. Okay, now that you went back and you kind of reminded people why they love these things, then what happens? Then you make a new one. We'll see how that goes. And that's the big question on the new Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah. That's a good. That's right.
Yeah,
Crash Bandicoot 4, right?
Yeah, because what's the game that did very well? The fucking remake game. That's what did well because people remember that. Mm-hmm. Will this one be on that level?
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
No, they have a huge. They have the legacy now. They have a direct version of the legacy that's literally sitting right in front of them. Can they really capture that magic? And we're going back to 343. It's like they haven't been able to sort of capture that Halo magic.
No, they have not.
But then again, I got to find this documentary. There was a whole one, but it really went into that and talked about how it was not so much as Halo, but Halo just hitting that turning point because then Call of Duty was taking off. And remember, the Call of Duty controls became the go-to control system for a first-person shooter. That was it. They turned away, and eventually Halo had to adapt that control scheme because of that.
I'll tell you this, Adam. Ain't no documentary going to save 343 from this.
No, that's what I'm saying.
My
point is it too late? Is that trend? If the whole crowd and the people of that community of FPS and shooters, did they already move on from Halo? Yeah,
they did.
To the but now they moved on to a bigger club, the new club down the block, and that new one was pretty much Call of Duty, and then all the other FPS that followed that scheme and that style of game. Because Halo never really evolved when it comes to that. You don't have that.
Didn't combat evolve?
No, for example, just to get to the whole thing, we always call it the Michael Bay, right? The Michael Bay effect that you see with the Call of Duty. Halo never followed that path. And I think a lot of people thought that was going to be the next level. We're going to see these big epic moments, ships battling, Master Chief hanging on the side. We're going to see. We didn't see that.
Well, I mean, the thing about Halo was, at least initially, was that deeper story about the Halos and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of that got lost. That's why you do like a prequel game like the ODST game. They had this bigger narrative that was there. But I feel like a lot of
Arbiter, they did that whole thing.
Yeah, the whole Arbiter thing. I feel like a lot of that is sort of getting the bigger narrative of those games has sort of gotten lost. Again, it's lost the magic that it originally
but here's one thing that I want to bring up, and Brian brought this to my attention, right? Because like me, he's just playing these games for the first time, right? He played the third one, he's noticing a pattern. What was that, Brian?
The Flood?
No, not that. Something else. Something with the title of the series.
Okay, so game 1, Halo, right? You go in, you find the Halo, you blow it up. Game 2, you find out that there's more than one Halo, so you go and start blowing them up. Game 3, you find the home world where they make the Halos, and you blow up like a Halo that's being made. It's starting to feel a bit stale after Halo 3. It's like, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. Just finding a Halo and blowing it up.
Find the Halo.
It's the lore itself. It just
So that's the
needed
thing.
more
It's not just
content.
the gameplay. The lore itself has gotten stale.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Then I can
They
now
had
see why
both.
they made Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach, because they were nothing to do with Halo. They were nothing to do with the Halos. They're just, hey, here's a story in the Halo universe, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think just an important thing to note. Adam talked about how Call of Duty is essentially the like what
The
started.
Halo killer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a funny thing. Carlos, if you don't mind, just real quick, I find it funny how for years, right after Halo came out, people are like, "Oh, what's going to be the Halo killer?" Every FPS game tried to be the Halo killer. Then Call of Duty, a franchise that had existed alongside with Halo, right? When they were in the World War II phase, they were like, "We're going to make a modern game," and they didn't say they were going to be the Halo killer. They fucking killed Halo instantly.
They did it.
And overnight, the whole landscape changed.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
and it's interesting. Like, essentially, the Call of Duty killer is already arrived, Fortnite, but Call of Duty is still alive and
Yeah.
it's still as strong as ever.
You know what it
So
is, Carlos? Because I think Fortnite and Call of Duty are so different from one another. They serve two different audiences. Halo and Call of Duty are still kind of for the same audience. You know what I mean? They're they're similar. Like
Hardcore.
obviously, yeah, exactly. For the hardcore guys, Fortnite is really more for the children and shit like that.
For kids.
For the kids, the influencers.
Call of Duty's my comfort food. That's my shit. Oh, I can't imagine a year where there is no Call of Duty. Like even the Blackouts. Remember the Royal? I did not want that shit, and I still wound up getting it just because I crave Call of Duty. I love that.
Man,
experience.
that's like that's Call of the Crack.
That is. It's a crack. It's so good. And it's the controls. That's it. When I pick up the controller and I know how to play. It's just there.
Yeah.
I know where the buttons are. I know what I'm doing. I feel like I just equipped and I'm ready for battle.
And it always feels good, man.
It
Like, it's
always
like,
feels good. The
nice and
weapons,
glitchy
the
and stuff.
Yeah, everything's responsive, especially if you put on some good headphones. You're immersed. You're like, shit, this is what I want. Especially, that's why a lot of people miss the campaign, because that campaign, even though it was short, they were very immersive. You felt like you were in this crazy battle, over-the-top action, especially with a lot of the camera effects, and then you running around, and some cheesy QTEs to salute and stupid shit like that. But it was still immersive. It was fun. It took you out. You felt like you were in one of those movies. You felt like you were in something. And I never got that feeling from Halo. Halo just never pulled me in like that.
Well, Halo was always an epic sort of scale game. Like, it had like a grand story with bigger than life main character. And Bungie, I think what Bungie did great at the beginning was they were innovators. They innovated a lot of things into console
They
gaming.
definitely did.
When it comes to the online multiplayer, to the voice chat, to the clan support.
The control scheme too, double analog
The
sticks.
control was different. Yeah. Having a flashlight, that was awesome.
They did a lot of stuff. They even introduced Forge. Before Dream and Little Big Planet, there was Forge.
Yeah,
And a lot of these things were on PC before, but on the consoles, this was unheard of.
yeah.
And Bungie was ahead of the curve. They always implemented, and they were great when it came to community. They always interacted with the community. They always got feedback. They did podcasts every week about just everything Halo. I used to listen to those podcasts, and every game that released was an event. And they just Bungie was sort of didn't want to become the Halo factory, so they were transitioning along, and 343 is sort of trying to capture the continual momentum that wasn't theirs to build upon. Yeah, sure, they brought up a couple of of people from Bungie, but it's really hard. I think even for a game like Gears,
Yeah, Coalition. You see, they're trying to do that too. The same type of effect. They bring in some of the people from the original series and say, "All right, let's try to build on this and continue."
But you know what they did though, and they were overshadowed by the legacy of Marcus Phoenix, and that's why they switched out that character.
Yeah,
You're not going to see another Marcus Phoenix Gears of War game after this point. After they
He's
switched
still
over
there.
to his son,
What did-
he's
no,
there. He
He's
is
there.
there.
He's not the
But
main
he
guy
is not
though.
the main character anymore
no,
because they don't want to live up to that.
Well, the interesting thing is in 4 they kind of completely transitioned away from him, and then it's like on 5 it's like, welcome back.
Yeah, they went right back to that. They
Yeah,
went
it's
right
kind of like they just like you're like, whoops, nah. Marcus Phoenix is the dude.
That's exactly what 343 was trying to
Oh, yeah,
do with
with
Spartan
Halo.
Locke. They were making their own Master Chief, so they didn't have to live up to the legacy of the original character.
Well, they need to make another Spartan then, because Locke was just a regular dude. You know, the Spartan Master Chief, he's RoboCop. They need another RoboCop then, if they're going to go down that road and have him have different abilities. Maybe he can fly. You know what I mean? Give him, instead of just super jump, maybe he has like a wing. Change it up, but put it in that type of world. So they need to do something like that.
Yeah, but just the interesting thing about Gears, I felt like the quality of Gears has never really fallen off that much. But the engagement and the people, like the fans, I think have fallen off more than the quality has of the game. And with Halo, it's like both. So, man, I just hope this might be something that's like, like that old horse. It's like you got to put it down.
Well, maybe
unfortunately,
maybe the what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe there needs to be a point where there isn't a Halo game for a while. They kind of they put those guys on, let those guys make their own new game, new franchise, kind of like the way Sony let the Horizon Zero Dawn guys not be the Killzone Factory, and just
guerrilla games,
when they had their time away, have them come back, and then maybe they'll be fresh.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. But like, because I'm going to say this, I'm just no. I was just thinking about this. Like, yeah, I think maybe Halo's time has come and gone. So maybe it would be a good idea to, like you guys said, put it like, I don't want to say out to pasture, put it in retirement for a little while, and then maybe if it still has vigor in it, it could come back and maybe it'll be something new. Who knows?